I love hunting the rut, hearing the bugles, and then trying to figure out, okay, which one do we go after, and really strategizing how to get in there and make the hunt happen.
The big challenge with elk is that these herd bulls, they're never by themselves. When you have so many cows around them, when you have these satellite bulls, you have to get in and around all these elk. But when everything comes together, the lows are low, but the highs are higher than anything that you could experience. And so I think that's the lure of elk hunting and western big game hunting for so many people.
Good shot. Did you see that? I hope you got that. I hope you got that. That was sweet. Well, we saw these elk from quite a ways. We came around and we're going to make a move on them here, but it's Wyoming, early in the elk season, and we can hear a bull bugling up ahead of us here. So we saw at least one 5x5, but there's quite a few elk up here. We're just going to get in there and just see what happens. But tell you what, I think you archery hunt elk one time and you're hooked. This is just one of my favorite things of the year. Got this 5x5 up here just bugling his brains out. Just gotta wait, see what happens here. There's some more elk coming from over here. The Horrocks is kind of feeding this way.
The big challenge with elk is that, these big bulls, these herd bulls, they're never by themselves. If they were, they'd be probably pretty easy to kill, especially when they're responding to calls and they're aggressive. They're looking for that challenge. But when you have so many cows around them, when you have these satellite bulls, you have to get in and around all these elk. That's the tricky part, is getting into these elk where there might be, say, 50 cows, for example, and you got to try to figure out how to get around and through these cows to get to the bull that's on the other side. And sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you just have to sit back and wait. And so, with elk hunting, sometimes you can be really aggressive. You're running up and down the hills and you're trying to get into position. And then there's other times where you just have to sit back and recognize a bad situation and be real methodical and patient. Just let things happen, let things develop, and maybe that's waiting to hunt them the next day.
Well, there ended up being a big bull in there. They came way up on the bottom there. We've still got an elk bugling over here, but it's getting late now. Well, it's the second morning here. Beautiful morning. We've looked at quite a few ravines over and it's been quiet. We haven't heard hardly any elk bugling. We haven't seen hardly any elk. Just been weird. Last night they were really talking, but today it's been quiet, so we're just gonna have to keep looking.
There's a lot of cows down there somewhere. I looked a lot of country over and starting to see a few elk. We can hear a few cows down below us here. Seen a spike bull and a 5x5. But they aren't bugling today. That's what's odd, is that they're just quiet. We can hear the cows are talking more than anything. I guess that's the big thing with elk hunting, is finding them and then trying to find them in a situation where you can move in on them. We saw quite a few elk come up this draw here earlier today. And we know there's a couple of elk, handful of elk, holed up in this first clump of quakies, and we could hear a bull bugling. We don't know how big the bull is, but we figured we'd make a move here, just see what happens. At some point we got to hunt, but there's a lot of elk, and so you'd think with this many cows that there's got to be a good bull around here. So we're just gonna go hunt. Way bigger than it looks. Our wind's kind of swirling too. It's hard saying where they're at. The cows dropped in right here. You'd almost have to get them up here too to get a shot, wouldn't you? Yeah. To come back up on top or something. You know, the thing about elk hunting is that there's a physical component that, you know, you wear out your body, then pretty soon you start wearing out your mind. And the lows are low, but the highs are high. And I think what happens is that you put so much into something where you're breathing hard, you're tired, your body aches at night when you sleep, you get stiff as soon as you sit down, and you're putting on these miles, and there's a toil on your mind, there's a toil on your body, and you can get into this low place where I wouldn't say it's a negative mindset, but it's just a deal where you just feel like you're just beaten up, spit out, and just nothing's going right. You can put so much into something, and then, see the thermals change or the wind swirl and just blow these elk out, and, and sometimes there's some really long, quiet walks back to the vehicle. But at the same time, when it all happens, when it all comes together, as low as elk hunting can be, as hard as elk hunting can be, it can be like a euphoria when you're successful. When everything comes together, the lows are low, but the highs are higher than anything that you could experience. And so I think that's the lure of elk hunting and Western big game hunting for so many people. There's a lot of elk up on this side hill here. There's one really good bull of them, and so the elk is starting to move. Just gotta figure out how we get in position.
Can't figure out exactly where he's at. Looks like he's walking back and forth. Cows came down and they started running back up. I don't know if they weeded those other guys or what. I try a lot of things that don't work with elk hunting. I love hunting the rut because you just get to see the way the animals are, reacting to different things and moving and hearing the bugles every morning, and then trying to figure out, okay, which one do we go after, and, really strategizing how to get in there and make the hunt happen. And, we've had a full week of that this week for sure.
You can hear a bull bugling. Saw a pretty good bull in here for 10 seconds or so, and I haven't been able to find him since, but oh, there he is right there. That's a nice bull.
Sneak out since he knocked that cow out of there before I get caught.
Well, we got a plan for tonight. That's the biggest bull we've seen all week. Well, we've got the infamous Wyoming wind blowing, and saw a big bull in here this morning, so we're just going to get back out here this afternoon, see if we can see where this bull's bedding and try to get set up tonight. But that's by far the biggest bull we've seen all week, so keep our fingers crossed so we can put this together.
We spotted a couple bulls down in there. Not the big one that we seen this morning, but he could be anywhere in there. Our wind's blowing pretty good from the south. Gonna drop off this, sneak down to the bottom, work our way back up, and see what we got going on when we get up in there. But it's gonna be about a 30-minute hike, so we're gonna go right now.
I always say it's hunting, it's not killing. I mean, I've been on way more hunts and I've gone home with just an amazing experience being in the woods and seeing wildlife and watching the sun come up and the sunset every day. Just getting out of the city life. I mean, that's the key. I mean, that's what I need. That's what refreshes my soul, is just being out here in the woods and, just watching nature at work. So, there's a very high likelihood that we were going to go home without even, pulling back, after a week. And that's just the way hunting is. Again, it's not killing, it's called hunting. And just to be in
in that environment and just watching nature and the beauty of these gorgeous animals. And, you know, whether it's the elk or the deer or the bear, you know, we saw the sow last night, and, you know, there's so many interesting things to see on a daily basis, and, you know, learn about nature. And so that's what I would say, is that it's really about getting outdoors. That's what does it for me. It fills my soul. I've been glassing elk up here in Savory Creek, you know, for probably 5-7 years, and you know, nice bulls, but you know, you'll get 6x6s pretty regularly, but this was a unique bull. That 5 and 6, I mean, they were so long, and that was the first thing that stood out, and you thought, okay, this is a bull I would love to be able to have a shot at. And but those bulls are that big for a reason, and this week has been so hard getting in on them because of the satellite bulls and the cows, and, you know, huffing up and down the canyon. So each day that passes, you start to think that, you know, the likelihood of getting a bull like that is pretty slim. And, you know, going into our last day of the hunt, I really, you know, I was hoping at this point just to get one of the satellite bulls.
Way over there when we were glassing these elk. We were coming up the draw here, so we came down, we came up, we're trying to get around them here. Thermals should be kind of kicking in where breeze is coming back up out of the valley, so we'll see if we can just get down in there and just get around them, get close to them.
You know, we set ourselves up in a position where we could have good visuals across a little ravine, and we knew the bull was probably within 100 yards somewhere in the trees. So I was glassing the side of the hill to get in some marks, and that's when I saw these trees moving through my glasses, and I thought, oh my gosh, I think that's some horns. And then it was about getting knocked and, you know, getting position, and he came out, and it happened so fast. But see him walk directly at me, and I was able to pull and hold, and, you know, I had a brisket shot, but I'm like, just let him come down. He looked like he wanted to come into the ravine a little bit.
Good job.
Did you see that? I hope you got that. I hope you got that. That was sweet.
I mean, you couldn't have drawn it up better. I mean, that's when you're laying in bed at night during elk camp, hunting camp, you're always thinking about these scenarios, and it laid out exactly the way I dreamed it. I mean, you know, you stop them and, you know, set it behind the shoulders and, you know, hope for the best.
Good shot.
Oh, baby. Holy cow. Oh my God. Oh. Holy cow. Look at this guy. Holy cow. Tim. That's awesome. Look at this, right?
It is the big one that we were watching.
Look at this antler stuck in here. Oh my God. Wow. Look at that. Holy cow. Whoa. Sweet.
That is an awesome bull.
That is a great bull.
It is.
That's a great bull. Tyson, you put us on a hike today. I hope you're bringing the truck around because I'm not hiking all the way back.
It was worth it. Whatever we got to do.
I got to get the truck. Oh my gosh, look at that bad boy.